We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I'm your host, Afro Elite. Make sure you guys are locked in. Hit that like button. Get your popcorn. Get your drink. There's a lot to discuss this evening. We're discussing the desperate, pathetic plan to appeal to black voters from the Democratic Party after the disastrous, one of the worst debates in election history or history in general between former President Donald Trump and current President Biden. After that, they've been panicking. They don't know what to do. And they've been coming up with some strategy because everybody, and more importantly, the black voters, are kind of fading away from the Democratic plantation. A lot of them are not supporting Biden. A lot of his donors are not supporting him. Nobody is supporting Biden at this point. So they're making very desperate appeals to try to get black votes, just as many as they need to keep Biden in office. I appreciate everybody for being in here. Now, this is going to be a very important conversation this evening. So it's very important that you guys on your way in hit that like button. That really helps the algorithm and helps the reach. As many people can come in as possible. We already got a few dozen people in here already, not even 2 minutes. So we're going to have a fully loaded conversation this evening. Shout out to every single person for being in here. Well, I've already seen we got some trolls, so let me get rid of the trolls. So they're already mad because they know where we're going with this. They're already mad. They know where we're going with this. I've said this before. The debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump is literally one of the worst debates in election history. There has not been, nobody is saying that there has ever been a debate, period, at all, that is worse than Biden and Trump's debate. They think that Biden, they have never seen a candidate, and mind you, this is a sitting president. So the landscape is different. This is a sitting president debating a former president. So this is very rare to see. They have not seen anybody do as bad as Biden did. Not that Trump is super great, not that we're endorsing Trump or whatever the case is, not that we're doing that, but nobody's seen that. Now, for years, we have been discussing how Biden is dropping in the polls. We've been discussing how nobody supports Biden for years. One of my earliest big videos I did 2 years ago. 2 years ago was discussing the statistics and the data, which what we have tonight, statistics and data, we have this tonight, discussing how black voters are fading away, and the Democratic Party, not just Biden, but the entire Democratic Party is losing its grip on the black voter base. All right. 2 years ago, and there's been crazy disasters since then. None of them have been mitigated from Biden, nor the Democrats. Just keep that in mind. None of them have. We've been discussing this, and we've been talking about this for a while. So since we're here, we're going to give you the statistics of what we're discussing this evening. Starting off with this, all right? I want to start off going over the results of the completely horrendous debate. So we're looking at this right here. This is from Forbes. So this is Trump Biden 2024 polls, who's winning in 6 states. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, this is something that I've been harping on for the absolute longest time. The debate will be determined by the swing states. The debate will be determined by the swing states, okay? That is it. That is all. Whoever wins those swing states are winning the rest of the election. That's final, okay? That's what it was last time. That's what it was the time before last time. That's what it's going to be this time. So let's look at the swing states and look at how they're leaning. Look at the direction they're heading in. Not going to read the whole thing. We got a lot to cover this evening. All right, y'all make sure y'all locked in. In Arizona, it says Trump leads. Actually, let me get this a little bit bigger. Make this a little bit larger for everybody. Says Trump leads by 5.7 points. 5.7 points, a 1.7 point increase since early June. So that means that Trump was already winning by about 6 points. Trump was already winning by 6 points, which is a pretty big margin. Trump is already winning. Keep that in mind. According to the Real Clear Politics polling average that shows him beating Biden, who won the state by fewer than 11,000 votes in 2020. So that means Biden barely won the state. The state was won by Biden in 2020, and that's what helped him beat Trump the first time. This state can go either way. Biden didn't win by that much. So Trump doesn't need that much more to beat Biden in this state. And already Trump is way ahead of him. And after the debate, much more ahead. I think I made a mistake. I said he was winning by 5 points, but he was winning by 4 points. He was winning by 4 points, and now it's 5.7. So let me correct myself. Also, and then it continues to say, in all 6 polls included in the tracker since June 11th. All right. So that's that. Now look at Georgia. This is something that the Democrats have been saying for years. Oh, we got Georgia on lock, man. Georgia's on lock. We gonna swing. Georgia's gonna be blue forever. They were saying that. They was even saying that they was gonna turn Texas purple. If y'all don't recall, they were saying it was gonna turn Texas purple. So okay, let's look at Georgia. It says Trump is up 3.9 points in the state, nearly 1 point decline from the former president over the past 6 weeks. Although all 5 polls include a Real Clear Politics polling average dating back to May 30, Trump shows Trump winning by at least 3 points. That means I'm showing you all this to show you. This means that Trump had been winning for a while. This is not just the results of the debate. The debate only made things worse for Biden and the Democrats. Worse, okay? It made things much worse for Biden and the Democrats. But Trump, and I'm showing you this to show you, Trump had already been winning these states. We have well over 100 people in here. Y'all know what we got to do. We got to put the 100% emojis in the chat room. You got to put the 100% emojis in the chat room. Get this room popping. We got a lot to discuss tonight. Okay. Then in Michigan, says Trump holds his narrowest lead. Okay. That's the smallest. He holds the smallest lead by 1.3 points of any swing state, according to the average of 6 polls dating back to June 21st, with just one showing Biden winning. Biden flipped Michigan in 2020. So Michigan is kind of on the fence. Even though it's leaning towards Trump, it's kind of on the fence. So at this point, Michigan can go either way, which is mainly Detroit. I know we got some Detroit family in the room. I know we do. So Michigan can kind of go either way. It depends. It depends. But right now it's leaning to Trump. Nevada, Biden also won the state by 3 points in 2020, but polls this year show Trump would beat Biden by 5 points, according to the average of 6 polls dating back to June 1st, all showing Trump winning. The reason why I am harping on these dates, is because I want you guys to know all of this was going on prior to the debate. All of this was going on before the debate. So it's not like it was 50-50 or Biden was winning or whatever the case is. And then the debate and people like, man, I don't really know. All of this, Trump was already ahead because none of these people like Biden. None of these people like Biden. Not that they're a super big fan of Trump, but none of these people like Biden. Nobody approves of Biden's performance in his job as president, not just on the stage. And I'm showing you these dates so I can let you guys know this is about Biden's performance as the president. This is more than about Biden's performance at the debate stage. This is more than just about that. This is more than just some bad interviews here or there. This is a buildup of his entire time as the president. continues to say Pennsylvania. Trump holds a 4.5 lead average, is his average lead, and is ahead in all 6 polls dating back to June 22nd, including in the Real Clear Politics polling average. After Biden won the state by 1 point in 2020, 1 point in 2020, flipping Trump's 2016 win. So Trump won in 2016, he won Pennsylvania, and then Biden won in 2020. But it's seeming like Trump, because he's already familiar with winning that state, it seemed like Trump already won that, and Trump's going to win again. He's almost up by 5 points. Wisconsin. Trump is winning here by 3 points according to Real Clear Politics. Real Clear Politics average of 6 polls dating back to June 28th, with 5 showing Trump winning. Biden beating Trump by less than 1 point in Wisconsin in 2020 after Trump won the state in 2016. So, as you can see here, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, Trump already has won these states, letting you know that these states are, it's very, is not a rare thing. It can easily go red or blue. Easily, it could go red or blue. All right, easily. Now, over here, Michigan, that's the only state. It was Michigan. That's the state where it's the narrowest. But in all of these, the averages is that in these major swing states, Trump is winning by a good margin. Trump is winning by a very good margin in these states. These are the states that are going to determine who becomes the president. All of these states. And who controls these states? Foundational Black Americans. Foundational Black Americans control these states. Because when you look at it, let me show you again. When you look at some of these states, they might Arizona, the people who control the swing population in Arizona, that's Foundation Black Americans. Georgia, you already know Georgia's you might as well call that Atlanta. That's Foundation Black Americans. You know, Michigan, that's Detroit. That's Foundation Black Americans. Like all of these things, all Pennsylvania, all of these things, Philly, that's all Foundation Black America. Come on. All of this stuff is founded. We, as FBA, we are the ones who control the presidency. As Foundation Black Americans, due to the fact that we control the swing vote, we control all of the battleground states, and it could go either left or right. We are the gatekeepers of the presidency. We're the ones who say yes or no. Our thumbs up or our thumbs down determines who sits in that White House. So he understands this, and he understands that his Black support is not existent. So what they're doing is they're going through tactics to now they're trying to separate Black folk from each other. Now they're trying to separate Black people by pulling up one of their old tactics, a tactic that they've done several times before. Now they're trying to come up with some gender divide thing. Now they're trying to appeal to Black women because they understand Black men and Black women are locked in. Foundation Black American men and women are locked in like 2 peas in a pod. They understand this. So what they're trying to do is, and they understand that it's really the Black men, Foundation Black American brothers, who are leading in the charge of leaving the Democratic plantation. We're leading in the movement of voting for the couch. We're kind of spearheading that. So what they're trying, and Black women are also resonating with the feelings. The entire community is feeling this way. So we're all in sync. So what they're trying to do is now they're trying to do something, the desperate thing that they've been trying to do for the longest time. I accidentally closed it, so I had to pull it back up. Now what they're trying to do is they're trying to appeal to Black women. Hold on. Let me get this ad right out the way. So look here. So this is from MSNBC. And this is not a surprise, y'all. This is not a surprise. because they feel like, man, we need black women to kind of separate and feel divergent from their men, unlike any other women in any other community. That's what we need them to do. That's what we need them to have. So you got Simone Big Back Sanders took a break from running in as a defensive lineman, or really offense. She's very aggressive and offensive. Okay. So she comes up with this thing where she's trying to appeal to the black women and try to segregate them and section them off and have a unique conversation with with sisters, and to get them to try to get to see what they have, what their feeling is. And we're going to get into this because this isn't the only thing. Mind you, this is coming from MSNBC trying to run interference, trying to separate the community. It says, Black voters are extremely pragmatic. Most black women in America are pragmatic, hence why they show up at the ballot box in the various ways they do. Last week, Melissa Harry and I traveled to Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. Now, remember, I just told you Pennsylvania is one of those swing states. Pennsylvania is one of the states that Biden is losing in. Okay, that Trump won in 2016. So Pennsylvania is a very important state. In Pennsylvania, Trump is winning by 4.5 points in the polls. Okay, this is why I showed you guys the polls first, so you guys have context of all this stuff. Why she's going to Pennsylvania of all places. In Pennsylvania, the suburbs. Yes, black women live in the suburbs to discuss the upcoming election. Okay. The whole, yes, black women live in the suburbs. Everybody knows that black women live in the suburbs. Okay. All black people know there's millions of black people who live in suburban areas. Not everybody lives in a city like that, but okay. So it says, we talked about a range of things, including Vice President Kamala Harris. All the women I spoke to said they liked the vice president. Okay. So it's interesting that you picked all of the random women that you picked happen to like Kamala Harris. That's very interesting that all of the women you picked liked her. You didn't pick one that was kind of like, no, I'm not really feeling her. All of the women you picked liked her. What a coincidence, right? One woman asked the group how they would feel if the party skipped over Harris should Joe Biden be replaced on the Democratic ticket. The group said they would be upset, but also noted that in this next election, our democracy is on the line. A pragmatic and practical answer. Okay. Our democracy is on the line. Before I continue, y'all, stop me if you heard this before. This election is like no other election. There is too much at stake. In this election, everything will change. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. Stop me if you heard that one before. Stop me if you heard everything is on the line. This is life or death. Everything. Nothing will be the same after this election. Stop me if you heard that line before. Because I've heard it a couple times before. Lord. So, going down, trying to do the separation thing. It says, what we're witnessing is an ongoing debate over the vice president's possible place at the top of the ticket is a fundamental misunderstanding, as my former boss, Bernie Sanders, would say, of two things. First, the process itself is not a politician or party leaders that pick the president. It's the people, and the people selected Biden. Now people have qualms about the primary process and say they don't feel like it was open. But we can't say that the primaries weren't had and the balance weren't cast. And this is something that I've been saying for the longest time. If Biden does decide to step down, Kamala would she would fill in her role as the president for literally 4 months. She would not go on to be the president, or she would not go on to be at the top of the ticket either. It would still, he couldn't just, it's not like a king and you can pick an heir. This isn't Game of Thrones. There's an election process, and Kamala would still have to participate in the election process. Okay. But the thing is that nobody wants Kamala to be the president either. Of course, these random handful of women that she just picked, of course, they all do, but okay. Continues to say, secondly, there's a fundamental misunderstanding of the Democratic Party's base voters and black voters. I was at the Essence Festival this weekend talking to black women, and they brought up issues of healthcare, abortion, and the economy. Based on the conversations I've had, the chief concern for black women in this country is the economy, and they want a candidate who's going to speak to that. Now, y'all stay tuned, because I actually have some statistics that I want to show you all about what black women are very concerned with. So I want you guys to pay attention. Just keep in mind what she's saying when she was at the Essence Festival, what black women just came up to Simone Big Back Sanders and asked her, well, oh my God, what are we going to do with abortion? Let them tell it. Let them tell it. Abortion is a huge concern with black women. Let them tell it. Now, I just want you to remember that's what she's saying in this article. And then I want you to compare if what she's saying in this article is accurate to the data that I'm going to show you guys later on this evening. Scrolling down, says, however, there is a problem with outrage at even the suggestion that Harris' name could be at the top of the Democratic ticket. Some are questioning the audacity of the vice president and the audacity of her supporters to believe she should be first in line to the presidency. Well, she is the vice president. Literally, there to be the president in case the commander-in-chief is unable to do the job. We got 200 people in here. Y'all know the game. Y'all know what we got to do. We got over 200 people in here. Says, so that's the thing. That's what the vice president's supposed to do. That's their job, to be the second president in case the first president can't do it. Then it says, do their job, whether that is under anesthesia, whether the 25th Amendment is implemented, or rather whatever. That is what the vice president is there for, okay? The president selected her because he believed that in an event he could not carry out his duties, she could. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. But we all know, let me pause this for a second. We all know that's not the case. We know that's not the case. We know Biden was losing. He was inching close to Trump in 2020. He knew that in order for him to win those swing states, which he only did by a very little bit, he knew he needed to galvanize more support from black voters. He knew that. So that's why he picked Kamala Harris, because she is black, and that's somebody that he knows he could keep in their place. He never had any intention on passing anything down to her. He knew if he picked anybody besides her as VP, he was more than likely going to lose. If you guys remember, early polling back in 2020 showed that Biden was kind of behind Trump. And a lot of those polls showed Biden was behind Trump. Biden barely won the ticket, to be very honest with you. A lot of people did not like Biden at all. Not that people like Trump, but many people didn't like Biden. So he knew the only way is to get Kamala, who has black DNA, I guess. That's the only reason. It's not like he saw her and was like, oh my God, this is such a capable woman. And if I step down, she has a super bright and progressive vision for America, and she's going to carry this out and lead the people to unity and prosperity. He did not have that in mind. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. I promise you he didn't. So, finishing this gender divisive article off, it says, but this is the reality of the moment we're in. In discussions I've had with folks who are members of the Democratic Party, and I pledged their support for and have pledged their support for Biden, I have not heard many black women voters, say that they are walking away from him. Right now, it's still President Biden's name at the top of the ticket. It's been Biden-Harris ticket, and the Democrats should act as such. So, what she's saying is Biden, the Democrats, is kind of off code. The Democrats need to kind of get in line, because the problem is a lot of the Democrats is kind of like, hey, Biden, we're like this close to the election. The clock is ticking, and you can't formulate a coherent sentence. There ain't nothing personal, but we got to find somebody who can actually do this, who has a better chance of beating Trump, because the way everybody's looking at things right now, he ain't going to beat Trump. That's the way they're looking at it. Oh, he's not going to beat Trump at all. So they kind of panicking. So what Biden is now trying to do is Biden is trying to appeal to black voters. They've done that. Doing that through the gender divide thing as well too. We're going to go through some statistics. Now, I keep telling you, they're trying to push this gender divide thing with black men and black women. How black women feel about Biden-Harris in 2024. A cut survey. So we're going to kind of skim through a lot of this, because I just want to really focus, really home in on the statistic part about this. All right. Now, it starts off saying, if the 2024 presidential election left the Democratic Party with a clear message, it was that Joe Biden made it to the White House thanks to the loyalty of black voters who showed up to vote in swing states in droves. Black women, in particular, have been touted as the party's most loyal voting bloc. So to better understand what these critical voters care about heading into the 2024 election, the Cut, that's the name of this I guess organization, the Cut asks 1,200 black women how they feel about the candidates. Okay. And with these, and which issues are most important to them. More than half say they plan to vote for Biden, foreshadowing a weaker level of support than the 95% who pulled the lever for him and Kamala Harris 4 years ago. The findings also contained a timely warning sign if positive perceptions of Biden-Harris or the Democratic Party decline before Election Day, black women may be less inclined to go to the polls. So this is what I'm saying. Black women, and this is something I said before, when you ask people, the average black person, now not us here, but when you ask the average black person who's just out there in the street and whatever, if they support Biden or Trump, majority of them are going to pick Biden over Trump. If you only give them two options, like the Matrix, where there's a red pill and a blue pill, you got to take a pill. You either take this pill or that pill. Most of them are going to pick Biden. Most of them will. But there's a growing number of people who are not picking either one of them. It's a growing number of people who are choosing the couch. It's a growing number of people who are like, I don't feel the obligation to vote for Biden. I just don't feel that way. I just don't feel obligated to do that. So we're going to look a little bit more into this, and this is what a lot of black women are choosing as well too. So this is what a lot of them are choosing. Yeah, I see we got couches. Can we get a lot of the couch emojis in the chat room? Can we get a lot of the couch emojis in the chat room? I see y'all already started ahead of me. So I just wanted to let y'all know. So these are the surveys of a little over 1,000 black. These are the 1,200 black women were conducted in these surveys. All right. So this is the last part. Then we're just going to get to the data. It says the survey is the first of four. The cut, that's the name of the thing. The cut is running between now and November. So they're going to be running multiple surveys. It polled black women age 18 to 55 between June 3rd and June 14th. Notably, before the president's disastrous debate performance sparked calls for him to exit the race. A gunman made an attempt on former President Donald Trump's life, and Trump endorsed J.D. Vance as his running mate. So, the reason why I have to say this is because all of the data that I'm going to show you, you have to know in context. All of this, the context of the statistics that you're going to see is prior to the debate. So it's a lot of them who might have felt one way and then they saw the debate and felt another way. This is also prior to Trump and the assassination attempt. So they might have felt one way about that before and then feel a different way after. This also prior to Trump picking his VP. Okay. So all of this is prior to that. So when you look at some of the data, and I just cut it out because we don't have to go through all of this stuff, right? When you actually look at some of the data, some data we have right here, you see, if you look at the one on your left hand, it says, what's different about black women unlikely to vote? So the green is likely to vote. The purple is unlikely to vote. Not just vote for Biden, but unlikely to vote at all. So as you can see, a majority are unlikely to vote. Are likely to vote, but there's a pretty decent number that is unlikely to vote at all. A very decent number unlikely to vote, period. And then it says the one all the way, you can look the one all the way on the left. It says approve of how Biden is handling his job. And then they say likely to vote, likely not to vote. So 63% of the 1,200 said they approve. 40%, 39 technically, said that they disapprove and they're unlikely to vote. Approve of how Harris is handling her job. Now, a larger margin of them said that they are likely to vote. And then a larger margin said that they are unlikely to vote. So the number of unlikely to vote is pretty high. When you look at it, it's kind of high. Now, when you look at the statistic point on the right hand, it says what issues are important to black women. At the very top, 59% majority, 59% said racial justice / equity. So racial justice, which means reparations. We might as well say because what does racial justice mean? Racial justice means reparations. That's what's at the top of everybody's priority list. Now, they don't want to say that. Oh, no, they don't want to say reparations. Of course, they don't want to say that. But they're just going to say they just racial justice. But that's what it means. And that's what majority of the black women, even the ones who support Biden, say that that's at the top of their issues. And then under that would be inflation in the economy. Most people do not like the state of the economy. Most people, period, in America, most black Americans do not like the state of the economy. So that comes at a very, very close second place. It comes at a very close second place. Then under that is crime, which is at a 56%. Now, something that we've also been documenting here. We've also been documenting this for at least 2 years, close to 3 years now. A lot of the crime spikes that you're seeing, especially in places like Chicago, especially in places like New York, a lot of that is due to the illegal immigration flood that is happening in these cities. A lot of these illegal immigrants are breaking into cars, breaking into houses, stealing people's packages from their door. You know how Amazon drops off your package at your door and they just come and grab it and run off. A lot of these people have sex crimes. They're on sex offender lists back in their home country, but all of that stuff gets erased when they come to America. They've been breaking into Macy's and doing all this fraud and credit card scams and all of this stuff. A lot of the crime spike that we're seeing are due to the illegal immigrants. And we've been showing documented proof that all of that stuff is true. Because besides that, to be very honest with you, crime, no matter what people tell you, crime in the black community is actually on the decline. It's on the decline. So why is there still a spike in crime? The spike in crime is because they allow all of these illegals to come into these communities, particularly in New York and Chicago, but a lot of them are everywhere now, and they're committing these crimes. Some of them are nonviolent, but then some of them are violent, and that's keeping the crime rate up. So a lot of that can be blamed on the Biden-Harris administration. All right. Then under that, this is the third thing they say is abortion, which is only at a 37%. So I want you to keep in mind when Simone Sanders was talking about, oh yeah, I was at the Essence Festival and all of them bought up abortion. A lot of them bought up abortion. And when you actually look at the data, when you look at the polls, most black women, abortion is not even in the top 3 of their concerns. It's not even in the top 3 of their concerns right now. And then under that, at 22%, is student debt. So all of that, look at what Biden has done to the black community and his student debt thing. And look, black women ain't tripping on no student debt. And statistically speaking, black women are the proportionally face more student debt than anybody else due to the high interest rates and all of that stuff that they are targeted with. But even the black women who polled, they all like, well, I mean, student debt, that's cool, but that's not even in the top 4. It's at the bottom of their top 5 of concerns. It's not a very high concern for them. Then threats to democracy, climate change, all of that stuff, that's not a big deal. Immigration, a lot of the immigration and crime are kind of tied together. And then at the very, very bottom is the war in Hamas. Black Americans ain't really saying much about the war in Hamas. That's not really a super, super big concern to black Americans. It's not. So we're showing you the data. We're not just telling you. We're actually going through the statistics of what black women care the most about. And the main thing black women care about are reparations. Not abortion, not student debt relief, not climate change, reparations. We also have some more polls with that I want to show you guys because we got to be thorough here. We have to be thorough. Then you have this. Okay. So if you look all the way on your left one, we're going to go through that. It says the president candidate black women would vote for today. So a lot of times when they do this, they say today, right now. Mind you, keep this in mind. This is before the debate. All of this data was collected before the debate. Okay. So they said, would you vote for Biden? Now at the top are black women overall. 64 of the percent of the women who are polled said that they would. Now The younger black women, age 18 to 34, is at a 58%, which is lower than the overall and is lower of the higher group. So the older black women, age 35 to 55, at a 68%, said that they would. So just keep that in mind, because we got to go through the statistics to keep everybody informed, right? Then Donald Trump. Now, overall, 18% said that they would vote for him. Now, now the yellow is large or gold. 21% of the younger black women from age 18 to 34 said that they actually would vote for Donald Trump. So a shorter version of the black women from age 18 to 34 said that they would vote for Biden, and a larger amount of them said that they would vote for Donald Trump. So you're seeing a lot of them sway from Biden and lead towards Donald Trump, the ones who did say that they would vote. And then when you ask about Robert F. Kennedy, a larger amount of them said that they would vote for Kennedy. Okay. Then when you ask about Cornel West, only 1% said that they would vote for Cornel West. That's the only one where you see the older black women, 35 to 50. They're not like old, but they're the older of the women who were polled, said that they would vote for Cornell. Now, when you look at the statistic block on the right page, on the right side, it says black women's perception of Biden Harris. Now, the first statistic you see, it says approval of how Biden is handling his job. Age 18, now that's the gold, 18 to 34, 54% approve. So that's a little over majority, a little over half. And then the other one says 35 to 55 said they do. So the younger black women are like, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. And then when it comes to Kamala, then that's the next one. That's the poll in the middle. It says approve of how Harris is handling her job. Now, it's a larger amount of younger women who approve, but I want you to keep in mind the younger women are really not that, they don't care nearly as much. The younger black women are less supportive or have less approval of the Democrats' performance as the older black women. And then when you look at the last one, towards the end, it says feel moderate or strongly hold on, let me look. Okay, feel a moderate or strong pressure to support Harris. So I guess that's where kind of like the little bias comes in. Now now the younger women are like, we got to support Harris or whatever the case is, and we got to support her or whatnot. But a lot of them are not really that supportive of her. Even the older women are not that supportive of Harris. A lot of them are not. And I'm going to show you why a lot of them aren't. I'm going to show you why. Because a lot of people, and we always play this clip. We always play this clip because we want to remind people this is who Harris truly is right here. Oh, hold on. Before I even do that, I'm glad I remembered. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, just gotta make sure we protect it here.
Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country.
Now, she said she's not going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, remember that? Remember she said that? So keep this in mind. And then when you look at this and you see at the very top of issues Black American women have, our FBA sisters have, is what they call racial justice, which is reparations. Because they're name racial justice beyond reparations. There is no racial justice issue that's bigger than reparations. Reparations is the biggest racial justice issue, period. It's not even close. So when you hear her say, I'm not going to do anything only to benefit Black women, no. And at the top of their issue list is racial justice. And she's saying, I'm not going to do nothing to solve racial. I don't care. Like, y'all ain't getting no reparation from me. Y'all ain't getting nothing from me. Not specifically. That's why the Black women do not support Kamala Harris. So no matter what people tell you, people can tell you well, Black women, they love the job Kamala's doing, and they super. That's what Simone Big Back Sanders was saying. Oh, they love her. She's so great, and she's so respected and by Black women. No, she is not. No, she is not. Y'all can lie to somebody else. Y'all can't lie to us. We too smart for y'all. Y'all can lie to somebody else. Y'all can't lie to us. Not with that. Not with that. Y'all can't. Now, Biden is out here being illegal, doing illegal stuff. So Biden is out here talking about how he is a proud lifetime member of the NAACP. And he was at the NAACP's 115th National Convention. Now, if you guys remember the job me and Black Alpha did, if y'all remember that, and we talked about how the NAACP is supposed to be nonpartisan. Do we have 300 people in here? We might have had 300 people in here a couple seconds ago. All right. The numbers keep jumping up and down, so we probably got 300 people in here. They're probably just not showing it because the number on YouTube and StreamYard is not the same. So we probably do got 300 people in here. So remember, the NAACP is not supposed to endorse any political candidate. The NAACP is supposed to be nonpartisan. That's why they're tax exempt. This is why me and Black Alpha work so hard so we can get that petition so they can lose their tax exempt status. So for Joe Biden to come out and say he's proud to be a lifetime member, not just a supporter, not just somebody the NAACP supports, but he's a member of the NAACP. That's not supposed to be that way. He's not supposed to be a member of the NAACP because he's a politician. And that would make them biased to his political party. And they're not supposed to be that way. So, but the NAACP is full of tap dancing, boot licking shills. So who's surprised? Who's surprised? But Biden was out there acting a damn fool. I got to show y'all. Biden was out there. He couldn't form a coherent sentence to save his damn life. Y'all gonna laugh at this. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. We already played the fair use thing, but look at this. This is Biden not knowing how to finish a sentence. And this happened multiple times that night. Biden's in the middle of talking, and then he just, whatever, and just like skips. Look at this. This is comedy.
I know you say, Joe, you may not have a Congress. Well, guess what? You all told me I couldn't pass the Inflation Reduction Act. You all told me I couldn't face it. Anyway, we did it. We're going to bring rents down, as I said. We're going to build.
Did y'all see that? Y'all told me I couldn't pass the. Anyway, he does this a lot. He's in the mid. I've never seen anybody in the middle of making a statement. In the middle of making this, I have never in my life, and I've seen people with dementia. I've seen a lot of people with dementia. I've never in my life seen people, and this is a sitting president. This is the sitting president giving a speech, something he was prepared to do. He's not caught off guard. He didn't just wake up. He doesn't have a lot going on where his mind's all over the place. And y'all told me I couldn't. Anyway, dude, what are you doing? And he does this all the time. Look, I'm not playing with y'all. He's doing this a lot. Let me take that back.
I know you say, Joe, you may not have a Congress. Well, guess what? You all told me I couldn't pass the Inflation Reduction Act. You all told me I couldn't face it. Anyway, we did it. We're going to bring rents down, as I said. We're going to build 2 million affordable homes. And cap rent increases of 5% a year so corporate landlords can't God. Anyway, I don't want to get going. I'm going to get very upset.
What was that? What was that? He can't. You saw he squinted a little bit, like he was struggling. His brain was struggling. Anyway. I'm not the only one who's saying that. What is this? He would have did better just calling them. What is he doing? He can't. You see, he tried. He tried to finish that sentence. I'm gonna give A for effort. He tried to finish that sentence, and he did it anyway. Next point. 5%
a year so corporate landlords can't God. Anyway, I don't want to get going. I'm going to get very upset.
God. But anyway, what?
There's gouging.
And he's I don't want to keep going. I'm going to get upset. Okay.
By the way, not only saves lives, it will save taxpayers. Just what I did on the first round on dealing with Medicare. It saves the taxpayer $160 billion because they don't have to pay these exorbitant prices to these anyway.
Yo, first off, it's so interesting how in the middle of him speaking, he'll just start whispering. He was like, and they'll save you a lot of money. And he'll just like murmur to himself. Like he's just like, anyway, like what? I've never seen anybody do this. Look at y'all mean to tell me this man could actually run. Come on now.
Lives will save taxpayers. Just what I did on the first round on dealing with Medicare.
He says it'll save lives on the first round that I did on Medicare. Or I don't know what he's talking about. He don't seem sober at all.
Dealing with Medicare. It's safe.
And then he's literally talking, and then he's
That's
like,
what I did.
Notice when he's struggling to speak, he kind of closes his eyes and he does a lot of blinking.
First round on dealing with Medicare. It saves the taxpayer $160 billion because they don't have to pay these exorbitant prices to these anyway. This man, and this happened all throughout the thing. He just don't finish a sentence. He just don't finish a sentence at all. Anyway. But he uses the thing of Biden talking about black jobs, or Trump, when Trump was talking about how immigration harms the black community and they're taking black jobs, and Biden has something to say about that. Here's what he thinks of black jobs. I love his phrase.
And I had to speed it up just to avoid copyright and stuff.
Here's what he thinks of black jobs. I love his phrase, black jobs. It tells a lot about the man and about his character. Folks, I know what a black job is. It's a vice president of the United States.
Okay, and the crowd goes crazy because he knows that's going to be a sound bite or whatever the case is. And that's very interesting because Kamala Harris ain't black. If you ask her, she ain't black. And she can't stand black people. Even if she was black, she couldn't stand black people.
I know what a black job is. The first black president of America is Barack Obama.
Obama can't stand black folk either. So it's interesting. It's ironic that you talk about the first black this, the first black, and both them tethers, because they're both tethers. Both those tethers can't stand foundational black Americans. They can't even stand their own people from their own homeland. They ain't even proud tethers. Normally tethers be kind of boisterous. Tethers be proud. I'm from Kenya. I'm from Jamaica. That's where they're both from. They don't care for their homeland. They don't care for our homeland. They don't like nobody with no melanin. Hey, some spiteful tethers.
I was vice president to Barack, and she is my vice president. I nominated the first black Secretary of Defense in American history. They're doing one hell of a job. I nominated the first black woman to the United States Supreme Court. It matters. It matters.
See, and all of this applause and stuff like this is why people do not respect the NAACP. This is why the NAACP has no sway in the community. Nobody respects the NAACP. This is why when we launched the petition to have them removed from their tax exempt status, this is why the petition broke record numbers with how fast signatures were coming in. It literally broke record numbers. Normally petitions start off slow. Ours got out the gate and it was on rockets. Right out the gate, right off launch. 1,000 signatures, literally almost instantly, because people cannot stand the NAACP. They're sitting up there hooping and hollering and giving all these crazy loud applause because of Ketanji Brown Jackson, because of black faces in high places. As if we have not learned anything, that black faces in high places don't mean anything. They literally don't mean anything. We've had black mayors. We've had black city council. We've had black governors. We've even had a black president. None of that means it. And we have a black vice president. And none of that means anything. None of it does. So all of these black faces in high places, we already have a black person on the Supreme Court. We've already had a black person in the White House. We've already had a black person sitting as mayor. We already have this black person and that black person and this black person. We've had black people sitting in high places, and we have seen the collective of the community not improve at all. We've actually seen them, when they walk in the door, they close the door behind them and lock it. That's what we've seen them do. We've seen them co-sign the harm that is done to the community. We've seen them do more damage because they can do it openly, because they can say, well, hold on, I'm black. I am black. So you can't say anything about me. So ain't none of these bed wenches, because that's what he likes. He likes bed wenches because Ketanji Brown Jackson is a bed wench. And so is Kamala, both bed wenches. So he makes sure that their allegiance is, before he picks them, I want y'all to make sure y'all allegiance is to white men. Your allegiance has to be to white men first and foremost. And then I want you guys to have a long track record of doing something that's harmful to black people. And then I'm going to pick you. Because Kamala has a long track record in California of harming black people, black men in specific. And she laughed and gloated like a little demon. As well as Ketanji. When they were there was a whole bunch of black people trying to file a lawsuit against some corporation or company. And Ketanji ruled against that. Ruled in favor of the white corporation over the black employees. So both of them, they have to make sure, okay, well, both of you have a track record of being against the community, and you have a white man as your husband. Okay, that's perfect. Oh, that's perfect. That's how he likes him. Now we have 300 people in here. Y'all know what we got to do. Y'all know we got to put the 100 emojis in here. Y'all know what we got to do. So all of that black faces and high places, that didn't impress the NAACP. That's not going to impress us. That's not going to impress us at all.
And I promised myself, and I promised America, that my administration would look like America. I'm proud that we have the most diverse administration in all of history that tapped into the full talents of our nation. That's who we are. These guys don't get it. That's why we're so successful. No, I'm serious. That's what makes us the greatest nation on earth. That's not hyperbole. Folks, it's because of you that I'm president and Kamala Harris is vice president. And by the way,
these applause are cringeworthy. These are some cringe-worthy applause.
She's not only a great vice president, she could be president of the United States.
That ain't never gonna happen. And all those boot licks or whatever the case is, laughing. Applauding. Then, right? Of course, and of course it was staged. Of course it was set up. Of course they had one of those lights that let them know when to applaud, when to scream, when to do all of that. But after that, Biden did an interview with BET. And in Biden's interview with BET, which I sped up to avoid the copyright issue, in Biden's interview with BET, Biden was asked some interesting questions. And we're going to have to break this down. So y'all stay locked in.
We got to point out what's at stake and what the MAGA Republicans are trying to do.
So let's walk into that. You led me into the next question, and that is post George Floyd, African Americans were really hopeful in terms of progress with police reform, racial injustice, equality. There was a hope for government sanctions, reparations, and now Republicans in the Supreme Court, as you note, have banned or are trying to ban affirmative action, the teaching of Black history, dismantling of DE&I projects, and they're promising to roll back even more with something you and I talked about before we started here, and that's Project 2025. How do you stand in the breach?
I stand in the breach for me.
Now, if you guys saw, I did a Twitter space about Project 2025. It's on the For the Culture channel. And I did 2 YouTube lives breaking down Project 2025. And also posted videos about it. I'm the person who brought you guys the information. All that Project 2025 fake scare stuff is fake. That is fake. They keep, what Project 2025, I want you guys to keep in mind, this is why when it comes to the debate, Biden did not bring up Project 2025. When it comes to the debate that Kamala and J.D. Vance is going to have, Kamala's not going to bring that up because Project 2025 is not Trump's plan. Is not his plan. So they'll say that in an interview, they'll say that in a tweet, they'll say that in all these other things, but you won't say that in a debate because you know that Project 2025, first off, ain't gonna happen. Second off, is not Trump's plan if it was gonna happen. He knows this. So they're still trying to, they trying their best to keep on with the Project 2025 thing, but it's really losing steam. It's losing steam.
Making it clear we're not going to let that happen. For example, if you look at what happened with George Floyd, we didn't get the legislation, so I took executive action. Made sure these guys got to wear cameras and everybody has a copy. Everything's on. It's changed. It's changed the way things have. Not what we should have, as far as it should change, but it's changed things. We're also.
First off, Biden cannot speak. Even if I want you guys to keep in mind, I fast forwarded this. This is fast forwarded. And Biden is still stumbling over he's still stuttering.
Didn't get the legislation, so I took executive action. Made sure these guys got to wear cameras and everybody has a copy. Everything's on.
Everybody has their copy.
It's changed. It's changed the way things have. Not what we should have, as far as it should change.
It's changed the way we should have. Not the things have changed, not as far as it should have. What is he doing? He is malfunctioning. It literally sounds like he's glitching right now. And y'all could only imagine how bad this sounds if it was played in regular speed.
But it's changed things. We're also in a situation where if you take a look at what we've done.
Now, I want to actually show you guys in the executive order where he's talking about he's changed things. So this is the part of the executive order that he signed pertaining to the police and pertaining to all that stuff. What it says, it mandates the it mandates the adoption of body-worn camera policies. Okay, so the executive order orders all federal, keep this in mind, federal law enforcement agencies, that's LEAs, to adopt and physically post body-worn cameras policy that mandates activation of cameras during activities like arrests and searches, and provide for the expedient public release of footage following incidents involving serious bodily injury or deaths in custody. Okay. Now, I want you guys to keep this in mind. Let's break this down before we continue. The first thing that you guys should notice is that they're specifying federal. Most of the issues that we have with law enforcement agents are not federal. They are state and local police. That's where most of the harm done to the community is done by. That's what agency does the most harm to the community, not federal agents, state and local. So we need the state and local, and then it mandates them to wear a body cam. And then it says, I want you to keep in mind at the bottom, it says, release them following incidents involving serious bodily injury or death in police custody. So that means if it's in police custody, the loophole to this means if they're in police custody, then they would have to release it to the public. So if this happens and they're not in police custody, then they won't have to release it to the public. Just keep that in mind. And then even if they have to wear body cam footage, even let's say for the sake of the argument, because we're going to have some Biden supporters trolling. Let's say for the sake of the argument, they did not have to, they did, and this applied to every single person who had a badge. What's that going to do? What's that going to do? These brothers right here, they were targeted by the police. They were shot unjustly by the police. No one's been punished. Nobody's been punished. And guess what? In both their situations, the police had body cam. In both those situations, the body cam was released to the public. And everybody saw the body cam footage. And everybody said the police were wrong. Everybody did. In the situation of Jalen Walker and in the situation of Roger Fortson. Everybody saw the body cam footage, and that still didn't do anything. Nothing was done. Now their families are still mourning. Their families are still fighting for justice. So to be honest, all you talking about is body cam. That's not enough. When I think, anytime I hear about body cams, I think these brothers was executed, lynched on a body cam. There's body cam footage of their lynching, of their execution due to their race, and ain't nothing happened. So all you telling me is that we get to see it on Twitter. All you telling me is there's going to be YouTube videos of the lynching. That's all you're telling me. Because the officer, first off, ain't been named. The officers involved in the situation of Jalen Walker have not been named. And they ain't been fired. And there has been no disciplinary action on them. They need to be charged and persecuted like the criminals they are. But that's not going to happen under Biden's DOJ. That's not going to happen. So I don't want to hear nothing about no body cam footage. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to hear a damn thing about, well, I did make an executive order for body cam for federal agents. I don't care if they were federal, state, local. I don't care if it was the damn mall cop had to wear body cam footage. What is that supposed to do? It clearly is not effective in stopping that, stopping anything. So that's the first thing he made. Freddie Gray, a lot of them. A whole lot of them are. George Floyd, to be honest, there's body cam footage of George Floyd. There's body cam footage of Atiana Jefferson. There's body cam footage of a whole lot of stuff. There's a whole bunch of, but there's body cam footage of them breaking into black folks' houses, not just Breonna Taylor, but them breaking into black folks' houses and shooting them in their sleep. There's dash cam footage of Laquan McDonald. So us having all this stuff on film, that don't stop nothing. What are you going to do when you see the footage? So when they say, "Oh, well, no, now they got to wear body cams. Now they have to wear body cams." That don't mean nothing. That doesn't mean anything. Because all we're seeing is that now their deaths get to go viral. That's the only difference. And to be honest, it wasn't the body cam footage. Before I continue playing, it wasn't the body cam footage of the George Floyd that got the officer in trouble. It wasn't even his body cam footage. It was the pedestrian who was filming the incident. It wasn't even the body cam footage. So the body cam, you can't even credit the body cam footage to the George Floyd situation.
In terms of the number of police officers, or most cops are killed, once responding in domestic violence of that. So we don't need more cops. What we need is more social workers. We need more people who are in communities building coalitions. That's growing across the country. That's growing in neighborhoods. That's growing. And we have to keep doing it. We need another 100,000 community police officers working with communities and bringing people in who are social workers, people who know how to put neighbors together. Or we're doing things like what we're changing in the environmental stuff. So many black neighbors are ripped apart by interstate highways running through the middle of their community, splitting them up.
Now, he's going a little bit fast. He's going a little bit fast. But what he's talking about right now is the Highway Act. That's what he's talking about right now, about how the government passed legislation to run highways into the black community, which forced a whole bunch. It destroyed many black homes. They took it away. They stripped it down. It destroyed many black businesses. They was all like, okay, well, we're going to have to demolish this business because we got to build this highway. And the government sanctioned that. So I want you to keep in mind, this is what he's talking about right now.
Well, we're providing the money to be able to pave over that now. Not pave over, but build turn into tunnels to bring the neighbors together again.
So Joe Biden's solution, and I'm going to play it back so we don't miss anything. Joe Biden's solution is to create tunnels to bring neighbors together again. Joe Biden is literally making it seem like there's a huge, tall brick wall. He's making it seem like there's a huge brick wall and you can't see your neighbor because there's a highway that's blocking it. There's a big brick wall that's blocking it. And he's going to create a tunnel to fix the Highway Act. Now, he's not going to do any restorative justice to repair the damage that was caused by the Highway Act. Now, the money lost when it comes to the homes, the money lost when it comes to the quality of the community, the money lost when it comes to the businesses, all of that stuff that was destroyed and all of the black people who are displaced. He's going to build tunnels. He said, we're going to pave over it. No, we're going to build tunnels. Notice how he stutters when he says that too.
Providing the money to be able to pave over that now. Not pave over, but build turn into tunnels to bring the neighbors together again. But
he's going to build tunnels to bring the neighbors together again. So he makes it seem like we're literally separated in brick walls. He's like, I'm going to build the tunnels to bring the neighbors together. What the hell is that? What does that mean?
The other thing we've done is making clear that when I got elected, I said I was going to have an administration that looked like America. I had more African Americans in high positions in not just vice president, not just Supreme Court justice, but across the board in any administration in history, because it's important.
Now he's going to go on and say he's got more black people in the Supreme Court than any administration in history.
That kid in 10th grade looks up and says, I can do that. I can do that. It's important that people know that they're respected, know that they're taken care of, know that they're engaged. That's why I appointed Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's, by the way, the brightest of the court, I think. I mean,
so this is him the same way he did with the NAACP. the same way he did with the NAACP. This is him talking about black faces in high places, because the 10-year-old needs to look up at a black politician and say, I can do that too. Wow, that's amazing. That's great. I can do it too. It's the same thing. The same thing. And this is the same thing that all Democrats been doing it. We got more black people in office than ever before. It's the same thing. So black kids can finally look up to something, so they can stop having this low self-esteem that they have. Because, black kids got a bunch of low self-esteem, and they can finally look up to Ketanji Brown Jackson, because they never had a black woman role model they could possibly look up to before. But now I have Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris and what's that other woman named Karine Jean-Pierre or something like that. All bed wenches, all tether bed wenches, because that's his type. Biden got a type, and they're tether bed wenches.
Terms of pure gray matter. But so we're going to change this, but it's going to take time. We got to stay at it.
What do you tell an African American who says, I hear that, but I've heard it for too long. It's going to take time. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting.
Look, take a look at what your bottom line is in your economy now. Take a look how the unemployment's the lowest it's been there. Take a look at how many the new jobs are created. Take a look at how many people are been able to get to college education and get the debt wiped out. Take a look at what's actually happening on the ground. Take a look at the fight that's going on.
Now, and this is why I showed you guys the statistic before. Now he's talking about, take a look at how I was able to wipe your college debt out. Take a look at all of this. Take a look at all of that. I just showed you, based off of the statistics of black women, and black women tend to vote more in a larger percentage than black men, slightly larger. Black women ain't sitting up there tripping on no student loan debt. That's not even in their top 4 issues. That's at the bottom of their top 5 issues. They ain't tripping on no student loan debt. He's talking about, look at your bottom line. Black America cannot stand this economy right now. Majority of black folk in America say this economy is terrible.
What do you tell an African American who says, I hear that, but I've heard it for too long. It's going to take time. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting.
Look, take a look at what your bottom line is in your economy now. Take a look how the unemployment's the lowest it's been there. Take a look at how many the new jobs are created. Take a look at how many people are been able to get to college education and get the debt wiped out. Take a look at what's actually happening on the ground. Take a look at the fight that's going on. I mean, for example, I got a lot of heat because you have our friends in the Republican Party trying to erase black history. Well, guess what? I've set up a new Juneteenth, a new federal holiday. They can't erase it anymore. Everybody now knows what happened then.
But they're trying to erase it in the school.
Okay. So now he wants points for Juneteenth. Now he says they tried to erase black history. So I made Juneteenth a federal holiday. So now everybody knows. First off, there's not a single person in America who doesn't know about slavery, because Juneteenth is about slavery. Even if they didn't know about Juneteenth as a federal holiday, and to be very honest, most foundation black Americans was not that excited or tripping off Juneteenth being a federal holiday. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for Juneteenth to be considered a federal holiday. Not a single person. Nobody. So he ain't getting no points. But now everybody knows. Everybody knows what? Everybody knows about slavery, something that everybody knows. There's not a single person in America who don't know about slavery anyway. You can ban all the books you want to. The history of that not going away. So then he talks about they're doing it in the schools. Listen to his response.
So they are. And that's why we got to make sure that he doesn't get elected. Trump's Project 2025 says do it at the Department of Education. Those up to local schools. What's he talking about? What's he talking about? He's talking about trying to erase it. Not just affirmative action, but all efforts to right the ships for people. Give people a chance. Look.
We said right the ships for people. Give people a chance.
My dad used to say that.
Listen. Oh, Lord. Then y'all listen to this. Then he starts talking about his dad. But before we get to talking about his dad, actually, to be very honest, let me pause this for a second. Connect with y'all, family. Connect with y'all. We got hundreds of people in here. as far as the situation goes with schools and they're trying to ban books in schools and stuff like that, let's be real. They were never teaching Black history in schools like that anyway. They were not teaching Black history in schools like that anyway. Most Black people, every Black person I know, but most Black people say they learn more of Black history outside of school than they do inside of school. Most Black people ain't learning a whole bunch of Black history in school like that. You'll learn, oh yeah, well Martin Luther King, he had a dream and he gave a speech and that was a great speech. And then you also have Rosa Parks, and she existed too, and she sat in the bus, and that's that. That's the only Black history you learn in school. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know. Most of us here, hundreds of us here, most of us learned Black history, whether we was young, old, whenever we learned it from outside of school rather than inside of school. They don't teach it like that anyway. Talking about banning books, y'all don't teach the books. Y'all don't, it's not like the books are a part of curriculum. The books are not all a part of the curriculum anyway. So it doesn't matter if they ban it or not. Y'all not teaching us history anyway, which is not their responsibility to. We're going to be honest, it's not. It's our responsibility to make sure the youth learn about our history. We shouldn't leave it up to them anyway, which we never have, thank God. Otherwise, nobody would know anything about Black history. But you're talking about, yeah, they're trying to take it out of the schools and everything like that. Biden ain't trying to put it in the schools. If Trump trying to take it out, it ain't in there already. There's nothing to remove unless there's something there. You cannot remove something that is not there. There is no Black history in the schools. It's not. Now, there's a Black History Month, but it is not mandated that the school teaches Black history during Black History Month. That's not a mandate. So the teacher can just not do that. There's no curriculum about Black history at all. So he can't take anything out that's not already in. Black history is not in public schools. So that can't be removed. Talking about some banning books. Please.
A job's about a lot more than your paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about your integrity. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, everything's going to be okay, and mean there's a shot of it. We're moving there. And by the way, the way you get equity, you build equity.
Now, this is him talking about his father, and the way you build equity
by home ownership. That's how all middle class white guys did. That's how my dad was able to do it. You buy a home, you build an equity in the home, you're able to move from there. That's happening. That's happening. But we're going to focus on housing, significantly focus on affordable housing.
But you do appreciate that the standard for your dad and for any white man in this country is vastly different than any African American.
I do.
Now, that's a good point. He said, yeah, the standard for your dad, and you can only imagine when his dad bought a house. You can only imagine when his dad actually bought a house. Joe Biden, when was Joe Biden was born in the damn in the 40s. So his dad was born damn near like what, in the 1920s. You can only imagine how easy it was for a working class white man in the 1920s or even in the 1930s to buy a house. Even in the 1940s, to be honest, 1920s, 30s, or 40s to buy a house. It wasn't nothing for them to do. And then he says, okay, you understand there's a huge different standard for his dad at that time, about 100 years ago, had to be about 100, because he's well in his 80s, about 100 years ago to buy a house versus a Black American to buy a house today. For a Black American today to purchase a home, it would be essentially the equivalent of buying about 4 houses for his dad. The work that his dad would have to put in to buy 4 houses, and I think I'm being nice, the work that his dad would have to put in to buy 4 houses is the work that we have to put in to buy a single house. So it's not the same at all. And then when we buy that house, you got a whole bunch of governing entities trying to take that house from us. They weren't trying to do that to his father. So it's not the same ballpark. It's not the same game at all.
But what you appreciate, my dad was a working class guy. We lived in a 3-bedroom home, 4 kids, and grandpa lived with us. We weren't poor, but there wasn't any money left at the end of the day. And so it's all about treating people with dignity. And it's about making sure that, look, for example, look at the heat I'm getting.
It's all about treating people with dignity. Now, this dude brought up a good point that, hey, it's not nearly as easy for a black person today to get a house as it was for your father. And then he says, well, yeah, but we didn't grow up rich, and it's all about treating people with dignity. He completely sidestepped that question. It's all about treating people with dignity. What type of answer is that?
Because I named the Secretary of Defense a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, because of the people I.
And then he just completely go off housing. And then it's all about treating people with dignity. I named the Secretary of Defense a black man. I thought we were still on housing. Did Biden do one of his mental resets and start another conversation in his head? He's like, I named the Secretary of Defense a black man. And then he called that black man Ketanji Brown. He couldn't even get the name of the black man he appointed as Secretary of Defense correct. Listen, he said, I named a black man Ketanji Brown. And then he like, never mind.
Look, for example, look at the heat I'm getting. Because I named the Secretary of Defense a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, because of the people I've named. It's about.
He don't even know the name. He doesn't even know the name. He was just talking about housing. That one dude, he finally brought up a good point. And Biden had a mental reset and started talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson. Ain't got nothing to do with the housing. He was like, well, it's harder for black Americans to get a house. I mean, I appreciate that, man, but my grandpa used to live with us, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's all about respect. What? And this is his appeal to black voters.
Making it clear that American history is black history. Black history is American history, and it's being built by it. That's why we're strong.
When we come back, I'd like you to take a moment and tell Black America round is not the same as the last time you won. There is a certain disenchantment. Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlanta are going to be deciding factors in that 270 you've got to get to. I'd like you to take a moment and tell Black America what you want them to know. Why should they turn out for you?
Because they know where my heart is. They know where my head is. And by the way, if you notice,
I don't think anybody know what his head is. And I don't trust his heart, to be very honest with you. You know where my heart is. You know where my head is. But man, you don't even know where your head is. You had several little mental resets during this conversation. You don't even know who you appointed as the damn Supreme Court. This man is glitching all over the top. You know where my head is. Sir, I don't think a single person in this world knows where your head is.
Whether it's young blacks or young whites or Hispanics or young Asian Americans, they've never focused until after Labor Day. I mean, the idea they're focused intently on the election right now is not there. And by the way, if you take a look at the presidents who have.
He said, we've never focused until Labor Day. Where is he getting that from? Where is he getting the fact that nobody focuses on the presidential election until Labor Day? Where is he getting that from? I ain't never heard. He just made that up.
One, at this stage of the game, the last 7 or 8 presidents, 5 of them were losing at this time by significant margins. The point is, we're just getting down to game time now. We put together the largest volunteer organization, I think, in America. There were 2,200,000 individual contributors, small contributors, raising tens of millions of dollars for me to be able to compete. So I think you're going to be surprised. And by the way, for example, I was in.
Do you see that? Hold on. Did y'all catch that? Y'all caught that, right? I think you're going to be surprised because by the way, he just, and then next he like literally bam. And then bam, another conversation, a whole nother sentence. Did you see him? He just did that again.
1,000 individual contributors, small contributors, raising tens of millions of dollars for me to be able to compete. So I think you're going to be surprised. And by the way, for example,
I think you're going to be surprised. And by the way, like these mental resets, and he's talking about, you guys know where my head is.
Was in South Carolina. Went to going to a black home where a dad and his son were sitting at the kitchen table with him, and they talk about it. And after it was all over, his father said, no one's talked to my son like this before. No one said, you really mean it. I do mean it.
And this dude is talking about the stupid ass photo op he took where he went to some dude's house and ate some fried chicken and had a conversation with his son about what his son could be when he grows up. He went to some raggedy old house and nobody knows, and this is some black shill, and he went to their house, bought a whole bunch of cameras. He bought a whole television crew, lights, cameras, makeup, everything, had a whole dressing room so he could sit down and have a couple bites of fried chicken. Of course it would be fried chicken. It wouldn't be anything else. Because he really wanted to connect with black voters. So he thought, what type of meal would really connect with, what type of meal seems organic? Because I don't want this to seem staged or anything like that. You know, so let me get some fried, because I know the blacks love fried chicken. And I know they do. I know they do. When they see that Joe eats some fried chicken, hold on, let me put on my good dentures and let me take a bite of this fried chicken right here. Okay. This is what he's talking about. All right. So back to it. And black folk was not impressed with that either.
I mean it. It's about why I got involved in the first place. Look, I got out of school, high school, and my state was segregated by law to its great shame in Delaware. And I got involved in the civil rights movement. No great shakes, just sit-ins, and things like that.
Do you see what Biden be doing? First off, he got involved in the civil rights movement, which is really interesting. I don't know what side of the civil rights movement he was on, because Biden was a starch segregationist who said he didn't want his children, said he didn't want his children to go to school with black people. He didn't want it to be like a zoo. Kamala, in the debate, Kamala called that out. So he was in the civil. What side was he on in the civil rights movement? I don't think enough people asked that question. He was probably on the no blacks allowed side. Yeah, I was a part of the civil rights movement. I was there in some of the pictures. You see me? That's in that white hoodie over there. That's me. I mean, you can't say I wasn't there. I was there. I mean, I was hitting the black people, but I was there still. Yeah, what side were you on if you were there? Because based off of what he's saying, he didn't seem like he was on black people's side. And then notice the blinking reset. This in the middle of the thing, he'd be just doing these little mental resets. Look at this.
Civil rights movement, no great shakes, just sit-ins, and things like that.
Well, what is that? Just no. Anyway, what is that? This is scary.
I got out of school, high school, and my state was segregated by law to its great shame in Delaware. And I got involved in the civil rights movement. No great shakes, just sit-ins, and things like that.
Man, what is that?
And the end result of this was all the friends I made. For example, one of the guys who my mom talks about when Barack called me and saying he wanted to do a background check on me, he wanted to think of me as vice president. I said, I don't want to be vice president. And he said, no, there's only you and two others. I said, Barack, I can help you more as a senator. I really believe that. He said, no. He said, well, damn it, there's only you. And I said, Barack, I don't want to be vice president. And he said, well, go home and talk about it. He knows my parents, my mom, my dad's dead. So we had a meeting. I was on the train and then going back to Wilmington. And when I got home, we sat in the back porch, called the family together. My son was alive then, my two sons, my daughter. The only outside other than the family member that was there was Ted Kaufman. It was my best friend. He was just sitting as a stepped into the Senate when I got elected vice president. And so we went around the room. On the porch, what do you want to do? And my wife said, you ought to do it because if you don't, he's going to ask you to be.
His mom and his wife. Because he said his mom and then he said his wife. So I don't know if he's married to his mom. I don't know. He said his mom and wife. Joe Biden do be kissing a lot of women that look like his wife. So it might have been, I don't know if it was his mom or his wife. And you know how them folks be, his mom or his wife, or unless they're the same person, his mom, wife. Okay, Joe.
Secretary of State, you away all the time. And then my son, Bo, who was Attorney General, should be sitting there, not me. And I said, Dad, you have an obligation, went through it. And so everybody made their case, and I still didn't want to do it. My mom was sitting against a railing, and over on the porch, there's like a story up from the foot ground. And I said, honey, you haven't said anything. She said, Joey. She said, remember.
Okay. He just said, yeah, his mom is sitting on the railing. And then he says, honey, you haven't said anything. Is it just me? I just want to ask the question because it might just be me. I want to ask the question because it might just be me. But does a man, period, grown man or not, does a man refer to his mom? Because he just said his mom was sitting on the porch, a story up. Does a man refer to his mom as honey? Because he said his mom, wife, and then later on he said it was his mom sitting up there, and he said he looked to her and said, honey, you haven't said anything. Does a grown, I don't know. Because I don't do that. Me and my mother are very close. But I don't be calling her honey in little relationship nicknames. Yeah, sweetheart, baby. What do you do? You haven't. That is his mom, right? That's what he just said. He just said it was his mom and said, honey, you haven't said anything. I don't care how close you are to your mama. Who refers to their mother as honey? Honey, you haven't said anything. Okay, Joe. Joe has never beaten those allegations. All right.
Remember when you were a kid? Remember when I called you when you got out of the race with Brock, and you asked about him? He said he's really bright, he's an honorable man, he'll make a good president. And I said, yeah, Mom, I remember that. And remember when you were a kid and they were desegregating Mayfield, the neighborhood we live, the neighboring neighborhood called Linfield? You were 14 or 15 years old. I told you not to go down there because there were people protesting, but you went down and you got arrested for being on the porch with a black family, and they brought you back home. I said, yeah, I remember that, Mom. She said,
he's lying. That's a lie. He didn't get arrested for being with a black family. They arrested him for being with a black family after they desegregated the neighborhood. And he was arrested for being on a porch. This white man was arrested for being on a black porch after the neighborhood was desegregated. Okay, that's a lie. That don't even sound like the truth.
Remember you had that job as a lifeguard in a country club setting? Did you want to be the only white guy to work in the east side in the projects as a lifeguard? I said, yeah, Mom.
Lord, okay. So now he's sitting up there saying he wanted to be a lifeguard in the projects because he wanted to be the only white guy who's a lifeguard in the projects. Okay. So, okay. Lord, okay.
Let me get this straight, honey. The first black man in history has a chance to be president. You told him no.
The dude just looking like, okay, all of that was for what?
That's how it's always been with me in the black community.
That's how it's always been with him in the black community. And this is back during the segregation years when he was super buddies with Strom Thurmond. So he was getting arrested, hanging out with his black friends. And then when he got out, he was with Strom Thurmond. So he was with Strom Thurmond in the day and then his black friends in the projects at night, is what he's telling you, is what he wants you to believe.
It's the same community. By the way, one of the guys that when I was a lifeguard back then is, and I helped represent as a young public defender, is out here now. He's a major labor leader. They're my friends. They're still my friends.
What's his name? What's his name? If that's one of your black friends from back in the day, that's one of your black friends from childhood. Well, what's his name?
And they're still the ones that encourage me to move.
Notice he he don't say a name. He's like, yeah, it was one of my black friends, and we grew up together, and all that. And I helped him out, and he's doing great. He's a great man. He's great. He's doing great. He doesn't drop a name. So there's no way to prove that what he's saying is true or not at all. No way at all, period. Just don't drop a name. Just, and anyway.
So I think that, and one thing does change, it's not an excuse, an explanation. I would ordinarily be going through black neighborhoods on the foot, working through the neighborhoods. I have a tradition. I close every campaign, no matter what campaign, going into the projects and going down the east side. And, hey, Joe, how you doing? You know, everybody, well.
I don't think he has ever done that. I don't think he has ever done it. He said, I normally close every campaign by going on foot in the projects. I literally just be walking on foot in the projects, and then people be all like, hey, Joe, how you doing? Like they know him by name. Oh, is that Joe Biden? I know that ain't who I think. I know that not Joe Biden. Hey, what's up, Joe? In the projects. And he does this with every campaign. That's what he's telling you.
It's because they're my friends. Let them know I'm still there. We can't do that now. Not because of the black community, because it's too dangerous for me to be out walking around a company.
That's because you're going to fall. It's too dangerous for him to walk, period. This man be falling all over the place. He going to trip and fall over the ground. It is. I agree with him. It is too dangerous. He can't walk. That's why it's too dangerous.
So what I'm doing, though, is trying to keep in touch with as many of my black constituents and letting people know that I'm available. I'm available. It's a reason why I got involved in politics in the first place. Not a joke. Not a joke. Everybody deserves a shot. Everybody deserves a shot. And we've demonstrated, you give them a shot, they step up. They step up in every community. That's why the black community is doing as well as it is now. And it's going to do better. We've got to focus on making sure that this MAGA 25 deal that Trump has out there does not succeed. They want to wipe it all out. Look what's happened. All the folks in the black community have prescription drug problems. There are a lot.
He said, look what happened. All the folks in the black community have prescription drug problems. That's not true. All folks in the black community do not have prescription drug problems.
Money. You have diabetes. You need insulin. $400. It's now $35.
And he didn't just do that. See, this is what's disrespectful. Is that what he does? If he lowers the price of insulin, you have a whole bunch of people in different communities who have diabetes, who need insulin. Everybody does. But yet he is going to market the decrease in insulin prices as something, black people and diabetes, they go like this. So, I lowered insulin for the Negroes over there. I did that for them. But everybody in every community, there's a segment in every community that has diabetes. Everybody. Okay. Every community has that. So you lowering insulin is doing a benefit to everybody. So that's an all lives matter policy. That's not a black policy. That's an all lives matter policy that he's marketing. And he's sitting up there like, everybody in the black community, has a prescription drug problems. No, not really. Not really. And the price of insulin, and I lower that. Okay. Now, mind you, when the dude asked about reparations, Biden didn't say nothing about reparations. And remember, I showed you the polls, and the poll says the main issue black voters have when it comes to Biden is racial justice, which is reparations.
The black community, in the east side where I'm from, where I was, you're in a situation where no black American, any American over the age of 65 will have to pay more than $2,000 a year for all the prescriptions for the entire year, including cancer drugs that are $12,000, $15,000. And so it's about even healthcare. It's about making sure there's opportunity for people to have a good education. I've been pushing and we're going to get it done. Early education. All the studies better than I, as well as I do, that you come out of a neighborhood or a house where there's no books, where there's a dysfunctional family, where there's a problem, and you start off school, you hear a million fewer words having been spoken because there's not conversation. Well, guess what the studies show now?
I don't even know what he just said, to be honest. I would try to break it down. I don't know what he just said. I really don't. I don't know what he just started. I don't know what he just said.
If you have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds going to early education, not daycare, education, you increase by 56% their ability to go through 12 years of school and on to community college. And I'm going to make community college free. There's so many opportunities we have. And I think the community is beginning to see it. At least I hope so.
Mr. President.
Okay, that's it. So he gonna make all of this stuff free. Oh Lord, promises that he never intends on. He doesn't intend on keeping none of that stuff. He made excuses after excuses after lies after lies. His appeal from the NAACP to BET, it's not working. He's going down on the polls. He's doing terrible. Before we continue, let me give a shout out to our beloved sister Stephanie for the $20 super chat. Says Biden doesn't know where he is or where he's at most of the time. Yeah, he don't. No, he don't. I don't think Biden knew who he was talking to. If the dude at the side of the table said, "Hey, I'm your stepbrother," Biden would believe him. Biden don't know the difference between his mom and his wife. He said it himself. He said he'd be flirting with his mom. Biden just said that. Biden said it. I'm not surprised, but Biden did say that. So a lot of people like looking, even people who know Biden, everybody who know Biden, like, hey, Biden, your time is up. Biden's time is up. So Biden, a lot of people saying, Biden, you're going to have to step down. It says Democratic mega donors push Biden to quit race as Kamala Harris events fill up. We're going to read a little bit into this. So all of the donors, like the big corporation mega donors, they all like, hey, Biden needs to go. Biden's time is up. He needs to leave. He needs to step down or whatever. Let somebody else do it because they looking at it. Biden is going to lose. And a loss for Biden is a loss for the Democratic Party, the whole party altogether. Biden is going down and he's taking the party with him. We're going to have to cut him loose. There's no honor among thieves. They're ready to throw Biden under the bus. It says, on a Tuesday in early July, 75 wealthy Democratic political donors gathered on the Zoom call to discuss the path forward for President Joe Biden after his calamitous debate performance against Donald Trump, according to a person on the call. Only one of the donors said they thought Biden should stay in the race. So out of 75, 74 said, hey, he got to go. 74 said he got to go. Only one of them said he should stay. And then it says all of the others made it very clear. It wasn't no guess. It wasn't no it wasn't no I got to think about it. They made it very clear that they believe Biden needed to drop out the race if the party wanted to defeat Trump in November. So they all like, hey, Biden can't do it. Biden can't do it. He got to go. He got to go because he can't beat Trump. We don't know who can, but it ain't going to be Biden. We got to go somebody else. Almost 100. And these are big political donors. Said, hey, man, I'm pulling my money out. I ain't backing no loser. You a loser. You suck. I ain't backing you. You got to drop out this race. All of them. Okay? Not only that, Biden's been betrayed. Biden's getting betrayed, not by super donors or whatever. Look at this, y'all. Oh, see this? Obama tells allies Biden needs to reconsider his re-election bid. Oh yeah, even Obama's like, Joe, time to pack it up. It's gone. Can't do it. No, I'm sorry. I think what's best for the people is that drop out, sit down, take a seat, take a nap. I think you need to. Even Obama, that was his friend. He was just talking about that. He was just talking about how he was talking to his mom or his wife, whichever one that was at the time. He was just talking about Obama in the interview. He was just saying how when he was flirting with his mom, how he was talking about Obama. Remember, he was like, hey, buddy and sweetheart, he told everybody how his mama was sitting on his lap talking about Obama. Remember that? He was just talking about Obama. And Obama in the other room like, well, I mean, Joe is a friend of mine, but he seems better. He's seen better days. And for the best interest of the party, I think that he should leave. I don't think he can do it anymore. I think He's old. I'm old, but he's older than me, and it's not what America wants. Not what's best for the party. Not what's best for people. So it's got to go. Oh, I just know that burn, that sting, the sting of betrayal. And he was just talking about how his mama was flirting with him, they was pillow talking about Obama. He was just talking about him and his mama was laying up at night and she was talking to him in the bed. Damn. Just talking about how great his friend was, and his friend is all like, "Yeah, I don't believe in you anymore. Gotta go." Oh, that suck. Ain't no honor among thieves, y'all. Ain't no honor among thieves. He ain't the only one. He ain't the only one at all. Then when you look at this, it's coming from CNN. When you look at this, it says former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi privately, couldn't have been that private to be honest, privately told President Joe Biden in a recent conversation that polling shows that the president cannot defeat Donald Trump and that Biden would destroy Democrats' chances of winning in the House in November if he continues seeking a second term, according to 4 sources briefed on the call. First off, I want to say y'all cannot keep a secret in that White House. Y'all might as well say that in a damn interview. Y'all be talking about, yeah, president, private conversations. I told an ally. Clearly, these ancient allies is getting out to the internet. Whatever y'all telling them, they tweeting about it immediately. Y'all need to, maybe y'all phones is tapped or something. I don't know. Ain't nothing going on in that in that White House private. Ain't nothing going on over there private. Everybody hearing everything. Breaking news all the time. It says the president responded, this is Joe Biden, the president responded by pushing back, telling Pelosi that he's seen polls that indicate he can win, one source said. Y'all, this is why I showed y'all the polls earlier. That's the first thing I did in this block. I showed y'all the polls. All ALL of the polls are showing Biden is losing terribly. And this was even before the debate. After the debate, it's like a landslide in the polls right now. So maybe Biden is having one of his, mental resets where he imagining some type of poll. Where is this poll showing he's going to beat Trump? He's like, no, I've seen a poll saying I can. Where did you see that? Because for years, all of the polls were saying you were going to lose. Now it's like a landslide victory for Trump. You say, no, I seen one. It was on the internet. I saw it. Okay. All right. She said, okay, Biden. All right. But the polls I'm seeing saying you're going to lose, so you got to bounce. The polls I'm saying you going to lose, you got to go. Sorry. So he's saying, yeah, he's seen another poll report said another one. It continues to say another one of the sources described Biden as getting defensive about the polls. Oh, Biden getting mad. He getting mad. First Obama, then Pelosi. Biden getting mad. Donors. It was first donors, then his friend Obama. Now Pelosi. Biden getting mad. Biden getting mad. Okay, all right. It's at one point Pelosi as Mike Dillon, I believe that's how it's pronounced, Biden's long-term advisor to get in line and talk over the data. Okay. So he's talking this data over. He's like, okay. She said, hey, look, I need everybody. I need his long-term advisor. I need one of his good friends, Obama. I need all his black friends from the project. I need his mom/wife to tell him he needs to drop. Pelosi don't be playing no games. She's not just saying what she thinks. She's like, hey, I want everybody in your family to tell you to leave. Pelosi out there on a mission. She like, anybody you talk to need to tell you you need to leave. Damn. Ain't got no love. This phone call, which is clearly on the internet, This phone call would mark the second, not the first, the second known conversation between the California lawmaker and Biden since the president's disastrous debate. I want y'all to understand that debate didn't even happen a whole month ago. That debate wasn't even a whole month ago. So that means immediately after the debate, Pelosi's all like, hey, Biden, you're going to have to wrap that up. All that re-election stuff, forget about that. You had your chance. You blew that chance on stage when you debated. You got to go. And then he's like, no, I can do it. I can do it. I have black friends. I can do it in the projects. And then she called again. She was like, hey, Biden, hey, man, listen, I was not playing the first time. It wasn't just because I was mad. I thought about it some more, and I'm still sticking to you. Got to go, for real. For real. You really got to go. Nancy, I ain't gonna lie, Nancy ain't playing. She not playing about that party. She ain't playing. She's saying, I'm telling everybody. I'm telling Hunter Biden gonna be telling his dad, like, hey, whenever Hunter Biden sobers up, he gonna be like, hey, Dad, I do drugs and I make more sense than you. I'm sorry, Dad. You gotta go. You really gotta go. Okay. Damn. So everybody's saying he gotta go. Everybody is saying that he gets to go. Okay, damn. So, all right. Everybody urging him. He got to drop out. He got to leave. We got to go through too much more of this. It says this is the second one. While the exact date of the conversation was not clear, one source described it as being within the last week. Pelosi and Biden also spoke earlier in July. Damn. So she blowing his phone up. Pelosi is blowing his phone up, saying, hey, Biden, don't make me come to that White House. Don't make me come to that White House, Biden. Just step down. Please be grateful. Okay. So, man, ain't nobody in his party. Biden don't got no friends. Hey, he don't got no friends. None at all. It's looking like Biden might step down. Looking like that. Now, what's interesting, and let's not be conspiratorial, but I just would be remiss if I didn't say this. What's interesting is that during that same interview that I played you guys from BET, Biden specifically said he has no intention on stepping down unless some medical emergency happens and a doctor tells him that he has some type of condition. The next day, he has COVID. Now, I'm not going to say that's a coincidence. I'm not going to say this is staged. I don't know. Well, it is an interesting coincidence if he did say that. If he does step down it could be, well, I'm not stepping down unless I have a medical emergency. Oh, well, that's a medical emergency. I guess I got to step down now. And if he does use this as a little escape hatch to escape the presidency, it would be that would be to save face. So he can say, well, technically, I didn't lose the election. I just got so sick I couldn't win. But I really would have won had I stayed in the race. That's what if he drops out, he's going to say that. Oh, I could have won if I stayed in the race. I just know I could. I saw a poll one time that said that I could win. So I would have won. But anyway, that's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do. And I'm not saying he will, because let's be honest. Everybody's saying, Biden, you need to step down. You need to step down. Nobody's saying Kamala should step up. Just keep that in mind. Obama's not saying Kamala should step up. Nancy Pelosi's not saying Obama should step up. None of these Democratic donors are saying Kamala should step. Nobody's saying Kamala should step up. So what they want is it to be pretty much an open ticket. They want it to be an open ticket, and they want to pick another white man to run. But their problem is that nobody that they could pick would be popular enough to beat Trump at this stage. To be very honest with you, Biden is the closest person to beating Trump, whether we like him or not. When we don't, Biden is absolutely the closest person. There's nobody that they could pick last minute who would fare better in beating Biden in this election than in beating Trump in this election than Biden. Nobody. Under that would be Kamala. They've done several studies on this. There's no Democrat that fares better in comparison to Trump than Biden. And Biden's is down here. Trump is right here. Biden is down here. It's a big gap. And I showed you guys the statistics earlier. It's a big gap. And then Kamala is a bigger gap. It's a bigger gap. So if they pick what Gavin Newsom, which is what everybody's thinking, well, Gavin Newsom, people kind of like Gavin Newsom, and he's well known. That's not going to work either. Gavin Newsom do not have the time it would take to run an election campaign in order to beat Trump. There's not enough time. So if he, and I'm not saying he will or won't. At this point in time, I'm not saying he will or won't, because they're not even being quiet about it. They're openly letting it be known, hey, we do not support Biden at this point. All of his friends openly letting it be known, hey, we don't support Biden at this point. We don't. But the thing is that they're looking at it like, damn, Biden is going down with the ship. But the thing is, if Biden leaves the ship is still going down. That's their problem at this point. Their problem at this point is that the Democratic ship is going down, and it's nothing that they could do to save it. Biden can't save it. Him staying in the race isn't helping. Him leaving the race, despite what they think, ain't gonna help. Kamala can't save it. Gavin Newsom can't save it. Nobody can save it. The Democratic ship is going down. And why is it going down? It's going down because of foundational Black Americans. It's going down because of us. Because the reason why they want Biden to drop out is because they're looking at the swing states. They're looking at the swing states and they're saying, Biden, you're losing in all of the swing states. Every single last swing state you're losing in. Now, if Biden was winning, they would say, Biden, you need to stay where you are. You're doing good. Yeah, you stumbled in the debate. Yeah, you fumbled. Yeah, you don't really make a lot of sense when you talk. Yeah, you have mental resets. Yeah, you do. But you still need to stay in this race. If Biden, I promise you, if Biden was winning any of the swing states, even if he was winning half, or even if the margin of how he was losing was smaller, if he was only losing by like 1 point or even 2 points, they'd be all like, Biden, stay in this race. All of them will be saying that. But they're looking at all of the swing states, which is what we control. We're the gatekeepers of the presidency. Remember that. We're the gatekeepers. They're looking at all of the swing states and they're saying, you know what, Biden, you're losing all of them. Every single last one of them. You're losing. You're not winning one. So you got to get out here. We need somebody who can probably get these swing states, because the way it's going, you're going to lose by a landslide. It's not even going to be a race at all. You might as well drop out and let Trump be in at this point. That's the way they're looking at it. And that's because of us. That's because for years, our support as foundational Black Americans has been waning away from not only Biden, but from the Democratic Party. And that is why Biden is losing the swing states. That is why everybody is worried. And that is why Obama and Nancy Pelosi and all 74 of those Democratic donors are telling Biden he needs to step down because of us. So when they tell you that we don't matter and what we're doing here doesn't matter, yes, it does matter. When they tell us that we need to just get in line and vote anyway, no, we don't. No, we don't. This is why we are being taken serious right now. We are being taken more serious than we have ever before. There has never in the history of presidential elections been a time where foundational Black Americans have been taken more serious than right now. Ever. It has never happened before. It has absolutely never happened. And the reason why is because they fear the legitimate threat of voter apathy. They fear voting for the couch. They fear that we are going to vote for the couch. That's what they're very afraid of. They're very afraid because the polls are showing that the couch is growing in popularity with them. That's what the polls are showing. So they're afraid of what we're going to do. And by their predictions, it doesn't look like we're going to do what they need us to do in order for them to stay in office. That's what it's looking like. So because it's looking like that, they're like, they're panicking. They're pulling their hair out right now. They don't know what to do because they leaving Biden, they throwing Biden to the side. They are like, they're panicking. You know, when people panic and they just make rash decisions, irrational decisions, you getting rid of Biden ain't gonna solve the problem. No, that's not gonna solve the problem, because the problem is the whole party. The problem is Biden. It is. Biden is a problem. He is a part of the larger problem, but the larger problem is the entire party. Not just Biden. The problem is Biden. The problem is Obama. The problem is Nancy Pelosi. The problem is Kamala Harris. The problem is all of y'all up in there in the whole party. The problem is Jim Clyburn. The problem is the party. Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, are losing the loyalty and the sense of obligation that we used to have for the party. We don't feel obligated to support that party anymore. That is the problem. So you getting rid of a part of the problem is not going to stop the fact that the ship has huge holes in it and the ship is sinking. The ship is sinking now, and all of y'all are panicking. You know how when the ship sinks, if you all ever watched the Titanic movie and you saw when the ship started sinking and everybody's like, okay, well, we need to lighten this ship up. So they grab a whole bunch of tables and furniture and stuff like that, and they start throwing the tables and the furniture off. And a lot of times they'll do that because that's what they consider dead weight. And they'll throw a bunch of tables and boxes and stuff that off to lighten up the ship. Because if the ship is lighter, it won't sink as fast. That's what they're doing. So they're just like, oh, throw this off, throw Biden off, throw everybody off. Everything got to go. They're literally rushing around the Titanic, which is the sinking Democratic ship, and throwing everything off. He got to go. They're firing people like they're Donald Trump. Saying that everybody got to go. They're panicking, and it don't matter because at the end of the Titanic, do you know what happened? The Titanic still sunk. It don't matter how many tables they threw off. It don't matter how many books they threw off, cases of wine they threw. It don't matter. None of that stuff mattered. The Titanic is still at the bottom of the ocean today. Just like the Democratic Party is going to be. It's still going to be at the bottom of the ocean. You can throw off, you can, if you want, if you think that's going to help, okay. I promise you it won't. I promise you it won't. Oh, that's not gonna help. You can throw him and you can throw Kamala off too. I promise you that won't help either. That ain't gonna help. Ain't gonna help you. You can throw him. You can throw Obama off too. That'll lighten up the ship a little bit. Don't get me wrong. It'll lighten up the ship a little bit. Ain't gonna help you. At this point, the hole in the Democratic Party that you guys have been allowing to grow larger since the Obama administration has gotten so large to this point, there's nothing you can do to seal this hole. When there's a little hole and you see a little bit of water like spewing out or whatever the case is, y'all said, it's okay. We'll build a coalition. That's their idea. We'll just build a coalition and now patch the hole up. Now patch it all up so that way we don't have to really solve the hole. Because to solve the hole, you need reparations. To solve the hole, you need some tangibles. You need to substitute. Sorry, I'm sounding like Joe Biden. Sorry. What you need is to subsidize the economy. You need to do something for the Black economy. Okay, you need to satisfy the Black economy, which is what you would do with reparations. You need you need some tangibles. We've been giving you a list of issues that you've been ignoring, allowing this small little hole to grow larger and larger and larger. And then we see things like Trayvon Martin, and then we see things like Breonna Taylor, then we see things like Sandra Brand, then we see things like Tamir Rice. Then we see all of these things. And with all of those incidents, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Then you have a whole flood. That's what you thought. Oh, we'll just have a whole flood of all these illegals coming over here, and that will patch the hole up. It's not going to seal the hole, but it's okay. That'll cover it. That'll cover it. We're fine with that. Oh, all that immigrant stuff. Oh, that made the hole this big. Now the hole is huge. Now it's water gushing out the damn bottom of the ship. It's gushing out the bottom of the ship. Now y'all losing. Y'all already been losing for the last couple years. Oh, and then to put the cherry on top, y'all, for whatever reason, y'all said it was a smart idea to have Biden debate Donald Trump. Man, that took this size hole, that made it it's a whole thing now. It's a whole thing. It's a person-sized hole in this damn ship. It's a person-sized hole in the ship. Now the ship is not even just sinking slowly. The ship is damn near tilted all the way down. Like if you saw the Titanic movie, the ship is going down so fast you can't even get on the lifeboat and get out of there. That's how fast the ship is going. So now they literally they are panicking. They all like, what are we gonna do? Biden, you gotta go. Oh, you can get rid, like I said, you can get rid of Biden. You can get rid of Biden. You can get rid of Kamala. You can get rid of Obama. You can get rid of Nancy Pelosi. You can get rid of Jim Clyburn. You can get rid of you can get rid of Brandon Johnson. You can get rid of Eric Adams. You can get rid of all of them. You can get rid of all of it. Ain't none of that gonna matter. Ain't none of that gonna matter. None of it. Because FBA said, you know what? Y'all took too long to get it together. Y'all done took too long. Y'all offended us too many times. Now the ship is going to go down like the Titanic. And a few years from now, the Democratic ship is going to be at the bottom of the ocean, just the same way the Titanic is. And there's going to be documentaries of what happened to the Democratic Party. Whatever happened to the Democratic Party? Like they still be doing like little specials of whatever happened to the Titanic. It's going to be that with the Democratic Party. Tonight's special documentary. What happened to the Democratic Party? It's going to be because of us. It's going to be because of us. Oh, that's too bad. Y'all can get rid of Biden if y'all want to. Biden can step down if he want to. Ain't going to help. Ain't going to help. Y'all panicking because y'all know the ship is crashing. Y'all panicking because y'all know it's crashing. We going to be okay, though. We going to be okay. Y'all ignored us. Y'all said we was not a priority. So we did make y'all a priority. Now y'all ship is going down and y'all in cold waters. Ain't none of y'all can swim. Sucks to be y'all at this point. I don't feel nothing for him, though. I don't feel nothing for him. Brothers and sisters, that's what we know now. Now, there's a lot of, I want to say this before we go. There was a video that came out saying that Biden has dropped out. It started circling around the internet a couple hours before I went on live. I tried to verify that. And there has not been a verified source to actually verify that Biden has actually stepped down. There has not been. If there was, we would be talking about it. It's a conservative saying that they heard from a source, but I have not heard from a reputable source that Biden has stepped down as of yet, because there were some people in the chat room saying Biden stepped down. There's not been a reputable source to show Biden stepped down. I promise you, when Biden steps down, if he does, we will discuss this. We will discuss this on YouTube Live. But as of right now, he hasn't. Personally, I don't see really the benefit of Biden stepping down, to be very honest. A lot of people saying they said he stepped down. I've been checking actually on Google throughout this live, and they say he has not stepped down yet. He has not made an announcement that he stepped down. Everybody's saying that he's going to reconsider. He might step down. He might step down. There has not been an official source that I've seen that Biden has actually stepped down. I'm waiting on a statement from him or his party that he stepped down, and that has not come yet. So, we don't know. In my personal opinion, him stepping down is not going to help the party at all. Him stepping down, to be very honest, is only going to make the party look weak collectively. It's going to make it seem like there's no cohesion, there's no unity, and there's no backup plan. Him stepping down, even if he endorses Kamala, is not going to be good for the party. But him staying in office ain't going to be good either. It's not going to be good either. So whether he steps down or not, the Democratic ship is going down, regardless of if he on it or not. They could throw him off. They could keep him on. The ship is going down regardless. The ship is going down regardless. But I'm going to check and see. I just Googled it as I was telling you guys. I literally just Googled it. And it did not say, I have not seen a source from him, not just a news source or a rumor or anything. I'm looking for something from him or his party, his campaign, to officially announce that he stepped aside. And I have not seen that yet. I haven't seen it. But family, y'all make sure y'all follow me on my various social media platforms, because we be spitting truth to fire all the time on my social media platforms. And I make announcements of when I'm going live on both my platforms, so that way you won't miss it. Just in case YouTube doesn't let you get the notifications, you won't miss anything. So make sure y'all click that. All right. Also, please, if you guys will, I would appreciate that if you guys hit that thumbs up button. Y'all was great with the pre-likes. I appreciate that. Y'all pre-like game is bar none. But hitting that the live likes, very important. Very important. Please make sure that you hit the like button. Okay? Hit the subscribe button. We are on our way. We getting subscribers left and right. That's a really good thing. Our growth and our reach is expanding, and that's a very, very positive thing. And hit the notification bell, because that also helps the algorithm as well too. Even if you check in even if you don't need it, hit it anyway, because that helps with the algorithm too. All right. So now with that being said, come on, get out. Now with that being said, be one salute to every single last one of you all. You all have a good one.